My name is Bryce Robinson. I'm a sculptor, professor, and I'm involved in the Ferguson community. And you're here looking at an exhibition of my work, Prime Beauty, at the Kranzberg Arts Gallery in Grand Center. I have experience with a lot of different materials, and I really sort of try and select the right material for the particular message or thought processes that I'm going through at the time. So I don't necessarily have a medium that I stick to. I do large-scale metal sculpture, I do wood sculpture, my undergraduate degree's in ceramics, so I'm kind of all over the place, and in a good way. I feel that allows me the flexibility to make choices that convey what I'm trying to convey. This installation is a series of works about sort of my personal response to the aftermath of the killing of Mike Brown. This really doesn't focus on Michael Brown's death itself, but the events that unfolded afterwards. So how the media handled and responded to the community, what things that I think were sort of left out of that dialogue and conversation, and you know, just sort of like a personal perspective of watching what happened unfold in my home. I've got a Prime Beauty, which is behind me right now, which is a sign that I resurrected from the detritus after West Florissant burn. And the motivation for elevating that piece to the status of art is I was seeing these images taken by reporters, local, international, national journalists, where they were cropping out what was going on behind the sign. They were missing the community behind and around that sign. They were missing the fact that if you weren't familiar with St. Louis, you would not know that there are still businesses and neighborhoods that are trying to get along and still thriving behind those images. #Ferguson, which is another piece in the exhibition. It's a two-dimensional map of Ferguson, Missouri, made out of pine boards, and it's been branded with hashtag brands by people who've never been to the city of Ferguson. I was interested in how through Twitter and through social media, you know, the #Ferguson as a shorthand for our ongoing issues with race in America has sort of developed into a phenomenon, and so that piece is about how so much of the narrative of my community has been defined by people who have no experience, lived experience there. This is called Dreamcatcher. It's a white picket fence pentagon. It's on top of a mirror, and then that's on top of a black pedestal. I was sort of thinking about reflecting on our different and contrasting ideas of what the American dream is. And I was particularly thinking about sort of stereotypical white America and some of the things that that community might value in terms of security, but be neglecting as well. I understood why the protests were happening. You know, there were clearly some serious missteps by the leadership in the community. There were missteps made by the police, and there was an injustice done. I hope first and foremost they take away. They sort of reevaluate how we look at images that are transmitted in news media, and also like images that are shared by friends whenever the community of Ferguson was portrayed. I feel like a lot of the human narrative, a lot of the lives of the people who live there, their opinions, their personal lived experiences were left out, you know, in favor of photographs of rubble and debris. I hope that viewers of every end of the political spectrum can come and see this exhibition and walk away with something. I think that there are people that are going to come see this and feel like I'm sort of preaching to the choir, and I think there's people who are going to see this and be a little challenged by it. But I hope that everyone who comes can sort of leave with a deeper reflection.